it's me, Sam. Well, it is the beginning of a new month, so that means we gotta wrap up the books from last month. And I'm gonna do something a little different this month because I listen to so many audiobooks during my 8 hours of work every day, 5 days a week. I am going to do 2 separate videos from now on. I'm going to be doing my wrap-up of my physical books that I read, and then another video for my audiobook wrap-up. Just to keep the videos a little shorter, because last month it was super long, and yeah, I know the average length of videos that most YouTube watchers watch is only around 15 minutes. So I will try and keep your attention, plus it's more content and videos for you guys. Alright, I will start from the beginning. The first book that I read in the month of May was Damsel by Elena K. Arnold. This book was about, I have to remember what I rated all of these, huh? So this book is about a prince and a dragon and a princess. In this world, to become king, the prince needs to slay a dragon and save the damsel, and then brings the damsel back and she becomes his wife, and that is the only way that he's able to become king. And once he rescues his damsel, Amma, she wakes up in his arms with no memory of her life before, and she's just expected to become a queen and do all of these things and be confined to the castle. And the prince/king expects certain things from her which she does not want to comply with, and she has to figure out the secret of her past. I gave this a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I thought it was really enjoyable. It was rather hard to read at times because there are a lot of possibly triggering scenes and content and thoughts about a variety of different subjects. And she, in her headspace, just gets really dark and is wanting to escape but just doesn't see a way out. I do recommend this. The first couple of chapters were written very weirdly, and I hated the way they were written. But thankfully after that it switched. But this cover is absolutely beautiful, and I very much enjoyed this book. Next, I read The Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. Alright, I gave this book a 3.5 stars out of 5. Very much enjoyable. Had like a Hunger Games vibe to it. Basically, in this world, there are 2 different types of blood. There's red bloods, which are normal people. They don't have any abilities. And then there are the silver bloods, which are the ruling class, and they're very much above the red blood individuals, and they have these abilities where they can do certain things like control water, control earth or fire. And we have Mare Barrow, who somehow has supernatural abilities even though she is a red blood, and she gets caught up in this web of lies where she has to pretend to be a silver, and she is engaged to the prince, and she has to fool everyone. And the people that know that she is read don't understand how she could possibly have this power, and maybe she's not the only one. The third book that I read was Escaping from Houdini by Carrie Maniscalco. Is the third book in the Stalking Jack the Ripper series, which I have thoroughly enjoyed reading. I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. These books just keep getting better and better. And the fourth and final book is set to release later this year, I believe in September. Super excited about that. Already ordered my signed edition. Anywho, back to this book. So Audrey Rose and Thomas and her uncle and their chaperone are on a transatlantic ship sailing to America. Of course, while they're on this ship, immediately people start disappearing and dying, and they keep turning up in mysteriously staged ways. And there's also a circus of sorts that is on this ship that is the entertainment every night, and everyone believes that these murders are in connection with this circus. And Audrey Rose has to kind of infiltrate this circus, and she goes at it alone without Thomas and asks him to trust her, and she meets someone else, and that's all I'm gonna say. I really enjoyed this one. I love a good mystery suspense with a good love story sprinkled right on in there. And yes, highly, highly recommend this series. Like I said, the books just keep getting better. My next book is Every Moment After by Joseph Moldover. This was the book that I got in last month's Unplugged book box. Hey, doggy troubles, hang on. Anyways, so this book is about two best friends, two boys, who have known each other since kindergarten, and they also had a third friend in their group, but when they were in first grade there was a school shooting and their friend was lost that day, along with many others. And this is just a story of the two of them and how even so many years later that day is still affecting them. Matt was not there that day. He was homesick, and that just eats at him knowing that he wasn't there for his friend Andrew. But everyone still lumps him in with those survivors and those, that class, but he just can't come to terms with the fact that he wasn't there. And Cole was the boy who was the poster child for this particular shooting, this particular event. There was a picture taken of him that was splashed all over newspapers and magazine covers, and people recognize him everywhere he goes, and he can't get away from that. And even though most of the summer have spent apart and they're kind of angry with each other, these two boys and their friendship is just so strong. And ultimately they help each other get through their graduation and that summer where it's kind of everyone is leaving and finally getting away from this tragedy. And I think that it's definitely a subject matter that we need to be talking about more. we hear about the school shootings that have been happening, and they're in the news for a while, but you don't really hear much about what happens to these children and individuals later on, and how it just totally affects their lives. And I very much recommend this book. It's done very tastefully. They don't talk about the shooting happening, they kind of talk around it, and you end up understanding what happened that day, that sort of thing. It's done very tastefully, and I would very much recommend this book, and I think that we need more books that talk about harder subject matter, especially in the young adult genre. I gave this book a 4 and would definitely recommend a read. Then I read The Binding by Bridget Collins. This book is amazing. I gave this book a 5. It is about a young boy, well, not a young boy, but it's about a young man named Emmett Farmer, who, like his name suggests, he's a farmer. A binder offers for him to become her apprentice. And basically in this world, books are made by binding people's memories. The things that they want to forget become bound into books. And they completely forget these memories and don't even remember going to the binder. And while he's working with this binder and she passes away, he finds his book hidden away on the shelves and wonders what he could possibly have wanted to forget and if it was connected with his illness. And it turns out that he wanted to forget what most people want to forget, something painful, but it might not have been his choice. 100% love this book, and the cover is gorgeous, and it has a beautiful love story in it. My favorite part was reading Emmett's book, his memories that he had bound. Oh, I have nothing more to say. Then I read The Descendants by Hart Hemmings. This book is, I think I gave this a 3, mostly because the movie that was based on this book is so close to what actually happens in this book that I was kind of bored, but I wanted to read it anyways. So this is about the King family, who are Hawaiian royalty, or they're the descendants of the last queen of Hawaii, and they have a swath of pristine coastal Hawaiian land that the trust is dissolving and they need to decide what to do with it. And Matthew has the most shares in this land, so it is up to him to decide what his family and all their cousins will do with the land. But on top of that, his wife was in a horrible accident, she is in a coma, and now he is left to take care of his 2 daughters, one of which is away at boarding school for doing some unsavory things, and the young 10-year-old girl who is just having a very hard time and is acting out. And he also finds out that his wife might not be everything that he thought that she was. So it's just them going through this ordeal together and learning to be a family again. It's a very, very good book, and the movie is awesome. The movie is on par with the book. So, if you don't have time to read the book, definitely watch the movie. George Clooney and Shailene Woodley. Need I say more? Last physical book that I finished this month was Karvall by Stephanie Garber. I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. I absolutely adored it. Scarlett and Donatella, and the older sister Scarlett has been writing to Legend, who is a man who runs Karvall, this magical game of sorts that happens once a year and never in the same spot. And she desperately has wanted him to come to their island for many, many years. And one day she gets a reply from him and tickets to go to Karvall. And one thing leads to another, and she is taken against her will to Legend's private island and sucked into the game where she has to win to find her sister. You don't know what's real and what's not real, and at the end, everything just gets flipped on to its head. It's amazing. I'm reading the second book of this right now, Legendary, and finale just came out. This is a great book. I loved it. I loved the game portion of it and just not knowing what was real. And yeah, it was just really good. So that is it for my physical books that I read this month. I hope you enjoyed. If you've read any of these books, leave a comment down below and let me know, and we can chat about those. And as always, the doggies and I hope you have a good day, and we'll see you later. Bye!